Hi everyone, this is Cathy Vartuli from Thriving Now.
And Reid Mihalko from readaboutsex.com.
We're here talking about creating connection.
Yay!
We're really excited about this program. It's about either getting out there and dating, or if you're in a relationship, deepening the connection.
Yeah, I mean, we started talking about this with Rick, and it quickly became obvious that we were going to be more than 3 calls.
Yeah.
And now it's turned into 6
Yeah.
with 2 bonus calls or something like that.
There's some bonus features and some tapping.
There's a bunch of other stuff. Because what we're trying to do is give people as many of the tools and skill sets that we have in our little, coach's bag of tricks on how to best, not even break out of your shell, which is a whole other series, but how to create connection with people, and just how to foster a more open life where you can invite people into it.
Yeah.
Because it's in many ways it's not that hard. It's just that a lot of people weren't given or role modeled the tools, so we're just kind of paralyzed when it comes to reaching out.
Well, I had read a lot of dating books and self-help books about it, and a lot of them felt very shallow and manipulative. I really liked the rules. I couldn't do them. I couldn't bring myself to do them. It didn't feel like who I was. I was really excited when we started talking about what we were going to present, because it's really powerful and it's authentic. It's about being who you really are and owning your own power in a different way than most people have thought about it.
Yeah, and for me as kind of a deconstructionist geek, one of the things that was really useful for me as this awkward, overweight 7th grader, now that I, have grown up, if you can call this grown up, is this idea of what were the messages that we got from culture or from our parents or society in general that are actually so wrong that they're holding us back.
Yeah.
This idea of like you're driving your car around town, but the parking brake's on, and no one ever showed you where the parking brake was. So there's all this effort and extra energy that's being used that doesn't need to be there. Creating connection is actually, once you get the hang of it, a lot easier than you think.
I think for me growing up, and a lot of people I've talked to, they think creating connection is about being more suave or somebody different.
Yeah.
And they constantly try to be that other person that will create the connection, and it never works.
Yeah, and that to me, that's the idea of what I would call the attraction model versus the self-expression model. A lot of people, like Cosmo magazine and whatnot, and I'm not knocking Cosmo totally, but hey, come on. The idea that you're supposed to be whatever it is that will attract this person to you. And my approach is figure out who you are and what works for you, what's your authentic self, and just be that and see who comes around. And from the people who are attracted to you being you, make friends with them.
Yeah.
Because then you don't have to second guess yourself and you don't have to hide your real self. And so that's probably the biggest thing I would say right off the bat. We're taught to be one way when really you should be putting your chips in the corner of the table where it's about you. And then once you get to be you and realize that people actually kind of like you for that, it's so much easier.
And it's fun. It stops being, did I play act right? Did I figure out, did I guess what that other person might want me to be so that he'll like me? And then I never really feel loved because it's never me that they're interacting with.
Just hearing you say that makes me exhausted. And again, I was trying to do that all the time too. And then, through a couple of things that we'll share on the calls, I kind of arrived at this place of wait a minute, that's actually doesn't work for me. And part of it was just I'm such a dork that trying to not be a dork just made me more of a dork. So then when I just started, and I was just screw it, I'll just be me. Yeah. Then all of a sudden, it was so much easier. But 2, there are people that actually like me like this. I know I'm annoying sometimes, but I'm actually kind of nice. And that was one of the pivotal moments for me.
Yeah.
And you can I'm not asking you to be a dork like me. You're going to be whatever version of you are. But life will be have so much more ease to it. It won't get less scary, but you'll have more energy to take on those times when it does get scary.
And it's actually nourishing. You actually feel nourished when you're interacting with people in this way.
Yeah.
And you can find people that genuinely like you for you. We have one of our bonuses is a checklist to write your dating profile.
Yeah.
And even if you're in a relationship, I could see that this would be helpful. Kind of going through, just even creating it, it's wow, you really get to know yourself. There's some tips that help you tune into who you are and what you want. And that's powerful no matter what you do.
Yeah, and you just pour the things, when we talk about on one call we'll talk about, your authentic self. You just kind of just fill in the blanks with what you know about yourself now. We'll have another call on breaking the ice, ways and strategies and techniques for that. My quick pitch on that is really breaking the ice. The reason other people aren't doing it first is we're all stuck in 7th grade.
We're all awkward and shy and uncomfortable.
And most people don't know how to break the ice, so we'll teach you some ways to do that.
That aren't sleazy.
Oh yeah. The sleazy part is just no. The sleazy part is, again, like, I'm trying to break the ice in some inauthentic way.
Right.
So it comes off as creepy or weird.
Or you're trying to get something without saying that you're trying to get it.
Sure. Whereas rather if I'm like, hey, do you mind if I break the ice with you? Which for me works great because it's total dork. But like, it's those kinds of things, looking at through the lens that a lot of people aren't initiating, not because you're detestable as a human being, but because they're afraid to.
Yes.
What are some of the other calls we have?
Well, we kind of step people through from breaking the ice to developing a relationship, deepening a relationship, maintaining it. And we also talk about transitioning relationships, which can mean taking them to the next step or getting out. Because personally, I always like to know where the emergency exits are. It's a lot more.
They might be behind you.
It feels safer to go in the pool if I know how to get out of the pool.
Yeah.
So I think that's just, even if you don't intend to get out of your relationship, knowing how to.
Yeah. It releases the pressure. Well, I mean, I know that I'll talk about in that call this idea that we measure success in relationships by duration, and I think that metrics isn't the right one anymore. Maybe back in 1906 it was great
when we were going to die at 56 or something like that.
Yeah, and it's not. I don't think it's in our best interest anymore. So I'll do a little bit of deconstruction and debunking of that, and we'll give you some reframes on transitioning relationships and what that means, because relationships go both ways. You could be taking a casual dating relationship and turning it into committed, let's live together, be married, and have kids. That's a transition.
Yeah.
And it could be like, we're taking it in the other direction, which is like, wow, like, this really isn't serving who we are right now. How can we break up in a way that's respectful and doesn't make us wrong? I think, for relationships, staying together too long is just as bad and gut-wrenching and detrimental to people's well-beings as ending a relationship too soon. Like, we're going to really get into that stuff and make it very simple to understand.
Yeah, and we'll talk about negotiating and being authentic and saying what you want and finding ways that both people can get their needs met.
Yep.
So we hope you join us.
Yeah, please do. If you have questions or you need more information.
Cathy at thrivingnow.com.
And Reid, REID, at readaboutsex.com.
See you there.
Bye.